Howdy ho, Andrew, aka Calfier, aka Shadowsin here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to more of the Tales of Neverwinter Nights. So we're going to continue on with Mauverlin's writings. When we last finished off, she had done the wine ceremony and just started a quest. And starting today, we're going to do the hunt and the following stories off of that. So if you enjoy these stories, please come into the comment section and, give me some feedback on whether you like them, whether you find them entertaining, whatever. It really will help me out with future content that I'm looking at because I plan the content well in advance. So anyway, let's get started on to Mauverlin's stories. Alrighty, we have The Hunt. Leaving the gates of Relitor behind, Mauverlin quickly made her way to the surface. Finding herself in the hills near Tribor, she scanned the area for any signs of life. A wicked smile curved her lips as she noted signs of recent campfire. Stealthily, she tracked the traveler. Shortly, Mauve had caught up with the Rivel, spying the natural cover. She noted his shining armor and the signal of his shield. A Palamu, she thought, stepping from the bushes. She waited a moment before the Rivel finally noticed her. Startled but unafraid, he inquired, "May I help you, Drowis?" "Nah, I need no help, little Palamu," she purred. "I seek a sparring partner is all." Sensing his intent, she moved closer. "You seem a worthy opponent, little Palamu. Perhaps you would spar with me," she inquired in husky tones. Discomforted by her nearness, he stepped back. "Why me, evil one?" Shrugging, she once again moved nearer. "No reason, other than you are here, as am I." Mauverlin laughed. "Besides, I could use the practice." This time he did not step away. Looking up at the human, she spoke once more. "I only ask a small price should I defeat you." Now slightly bemused at her nearness, he asked, "And what is the price, milady?" Smiling at his Rivel term of respect, she said simply, "Your heart?" Startled by this, he asked, "My heart?" Frowning, he continued, "Why should I pay this price for a simple sparring match?" Moving closer, almost touching the young knight, Mauverlin laughingly replied, "But it is such a small price, and I may not win at all against a skilled knight as you." Inhaling her fragrance once more, bemused by her nearness, he agreed to the challenge. Calling on Lot's blessings, Mauverlin cast protective spells that shimmered with magical energies around her. The knight also called on his god to aid him in the battle. Both circled each other warily, testing for weaknesses, gesturing and murmuring arcane words. The Yathrin sent a cloud of acidic fumes to distract the knight, quickly calling forth another spell while he was blinded. Strong magic surrounded the man, holding him fast. Stepping close to the magically bound male, Mauve drew forth a sacrificial dagger. With a simple gesture and word, his armor fell to the ground, revealing the travel-stained tunic underneath. Cutting through the fabric, Mauve looked into the eyes of the knight, seeing fear and resignation. She laughed wickedly and cut deep into his chest. The razor-sharp dagger sliced through flesh with ease. Her eyes glowing as the blood spilled, she reached forward and ripped the still-beating heart from his chest. Holding the trophy aloft, Mauverlin chanted, "Loth tu mala, Jal Ultran zu Zunders," sending the body and armor away with another spell. She removed the rune-carved jar from her bag, placing the heart inside and sealing the jar. She watched as the heart began beating once more. A pleased smile on her lips, she put the object away and continued on towards Crossergate. Book 3, Strands from the Web, Volume 1. Entering the ear near Crossroads, Mauve noticed a lone knight sitting at one of the tables. Staying in the shadows unnoticed, she watched him. There was something familiar about this one. Nothing she could put her finger on, though, just a sense of déjà vu. When he ordered another ale from a passing waitress, Mauverlin finally remembered where she had seen him before. It was before her dream of Loth and the change. Many weeks ago, she had almost stumbled into a small group of people. They were standing around chatting in a small clearing near Longsaddle's only inn. Quickly concealing herself, she looked on, recognizing some of the females as sword sisters to the twin. Jealousy flared as the thought of her sister when suddenly that one appeared. The group exchanged greetings and soon completed the introductions. Overhearing the introductions, Marvelin filled the information away for possible future use. Lord something. What was the knight's name? Theodo. Yes, that was it. Smiling as the memory surfaced, she had more focused her attention on the lone knight. Lord Theodo, she thought, you do not seem very happy with your new wife. Continuing with her observations, still unseen, Mauve saw despair wash over the knight's features. His grip tightened on the glass he held, shattering it. With the oath he opened his hands, letting the sharp pieces of glass drop to the table. Swearing, Theodo abruptly stood and stalked out of the inn, leaving the shattered fragments behind. Mauve smiled at the disappearing form of the Keef. Moving closer to the vacated table, she quickly picked up the bloody shard and placed it with care in her pack. Voila rivel, she thought, her actions unobserved. Mauve slipped out the door and headed back towards the hills. Once more caution guided her actions. The hills seemed empty, devoid of life, yet she could sense others were about hunting. Making her way to a small cave near the path, Mauve found signs of another traveler. Using skills learned years ago, she quickly tracked down the one that had left them. When Mauve reached the clearing where the tracks led, she saw the young knight battling for his life against several voracious beasts. This is too easy, she thought. Smiling to herself, she called out, "Do you require some help?" He required, slightly out of breath, I would thank thee for some aid." When the young knight looked up, his dismay showed at finding a drow priestess aiding him. The creatures took quick advantage of his distraction. They closed in, wounding him severely before his attention returned to the fight at hand. Murmuring, drawing arcane symbols in the air, Mauve let loose a fiery ball of death. The monsters withered in pain as the fire blasted through them. So intense was the heat, the knight feel it singeing his hair. When the flames died down, only the two of them stood still. Not knowing what reason the Drowess had for helping him, he was none the less grateful she had. "My thanks, milady. How can I repay you for your kindness?" he inquired. A smile curved her lips as she replied, "Perhaps you would spar with me a little, Palamu. If I should win, I only ask for a small price in payment." Not asking what the price would be, he asked, "And if I should win, milady?" She laughed. "Then you need not repay me for my kindness." "I agree then," he answered without hesitation. Once more, the thought of Wallu Rivel passed through her mind as they both prepared for the upcoming battle. It was over almost before it began. With a single incantation, magic bounds held the young knight fast. Drawing her dagger, Mauve advanced on the helpless male. His eyes widened with sudden understanding of the price she requested. Fighting the magic bonds about him, his struggles increased. With a wicked laugh, she spoke, "My price is your heart, little Palamu." Shortly after, only bloodstains remained to tell the tale. Satisfied with the success of her hunt, Marvelin returned to the inn at the Crosser Gate, acquiring a private room. She let herself relax in meditation. Slipping out of the light trance near dawn, Mauve arose and dug out the small glass shard she retrieved earlier. Holding the price in her hand, she murmured a short incantation. Her eyes closed. She let her mind reach out and sought the one whose blood coated the glass. Nearing the Crosser Gate Inn, a voice entered Theodo's mind. "Come to me," the voice called over and over. Drawn towards the back of the inn, Theodo entered a private room, finding Mauve awaiting him. "Vendu, my little Palamu," she purred aloud. Eyes glowing softly, she walked with sensual grace closer to the knight. Reaching upward, she lightly touched his chest, tracing figures over his heart. A shudder passed through his frame at her touch. His heart beat fiercely as he stood his ground. Theodo's fist clenched with the effort of ignoring the soft, husky voice. "What do you want of me, witch?" he spoke, his defenses going up at her nearness. "Why, I want you, Theodo," she laughed softly. His name, sounding soft as silk, fell from her lips. Her perfume filled his head and its exotic scent. Thinking to shout, his senses reeling from the feminine assault, he only whispered, "Never. I shall never be yours." "Ah, but you will, for Loth has foreseen it. By the time the sun sets, your heart and soul shall belong to her." Mauve purred and moved even closer, bodies almost touching. As lust filled his body with heat, he barely heard her next words. "And you shall give these to her of your own free will." Looking down into her eyes, almost mesmerized by the depths, he thought, "Terrell, those eyes, like the bluest sapphires." In a voice suddenly dry, he whispered denial again. "Nay, never will it happen. Tears shall protect me." Hushing him with gentle fingers, she whispered in his ear, "Do not fight for it, for you cannot win." Trying desperately to strengthen his will, he battled with his rising lust for the Drow priestess, his head filled with the sounds of her voice. Her musky perfume surrounded him, and he finally succumbed to her lure. Theodo's barriers disappeared as his body filled with the familiar aching need. He could think of nothing but her. The passion blazed in his eyes. Sensing the change in him, she laughed softly. A smile played about her lips as his arms grabbed her up and carried her to the bed. Passions played out. Sleepiness overcame Theodo as he relaxed. Drifting in and out of consciousness, he heard only Mauve's voice whispering to him, "Now you are free of all emotion. You can freely follow the desires of your heart and soul. You must choose freely, my Palamu. Search deep inside to find your answer." Finally coming back to full awareness, he asked softly, "What must I do to fulfill this void within me?" "I want to follow thy goddess, the Dark Queen Loth." Smiling wickedly, she replied, "Loth asks for so little and offers so much. All she asks is for your heart in sacrifice and your soul committed to her." Seeing his hesitation and reading his thoughts, she continued persuasively, "I promise there will be no pain." After a moment of silence, he gave a derisive nod and in a firm voice said, "Do it." Speaking arcane words, Marvelin gestured and Theodo fell into an almost comatose slumber. When the magic took effect, she raised her arms and chanted a prayer to Loth. Lips moving constantly in a quiet prayers, she drew her daggers and cut deeply into the knight's chest, removing his heart, and placed it in the third ruin-marked jar, and watched as it began beating once more. Turning to the dead figure on the bed, Mauve raised her hands again and called upon the power Loth had filled her with. A glow surrounded the body, and a gaping sound healed before her eyes. A gasp came from the knight as his body began to breathe with life. A glow intensified, and all signs of the bloody death evaporated as no sacrifice took place. A small scar on Theodo's chest being the only sign anything occurred. "You may open your eyes, my dark knight. It is done," she said softly. Awakening almost at once, Theodo reached for his chest in an automatic reflex of some vivid dream. Seeing the movement, Marvelin laughed. "Aye, you shall have that scar forever as a reminder that you are now Loth's." Moving with natural grace, she quickly donned a clean gown. In a commanding voice, she told the male to rise and dress. Soon, two cloaked figures disappeared into the shadows, leaving the inn far behind. And that is where we're going to end for today. Marvelin has completed the first part of her quest. She has gathered the hearts of 3 paladins, or as she calls them, Palamus, and she has bound the last one to servitude. I'm not really sure what exactly he is, but the ceremony or the writing kind of makes me think of a Death Knight. If you read, Death Knight of Kryn, that's kind of what I'm leaning to, but I could be wrong on this. So, as I said, I've never read Mauverlin's writings before this, so this is new to me as well. But she's crafting out quite the interesting story. If you're a fan of fantasy or you're a fan of the Drow, she's crafting out quite an interesting story with her, her origin. So we'll see where it goes to next. But that is the video for today. If you like this video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders, and I do appreciate it. Takes 1 second to subscribe, costs you absolutely nothing, helps me immensely. Just hit the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. If you're watching this on Rumble, please follow my channel. Always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage everybody to leave a comment. If, as I've said before, if you have roleplay stories that you've written of your own, please send them my way. And when I'm finished with the writings of Mauverlin and other Drow, I will get around to other people's writings if they've sent them to me. And you'll get full credit. I'm not here to steal anyone's credit. You will get full credit for your writings. I will just put them onto video form like I've done for my own and for Mauverlin's. So yeah, please send them to me. You can contact me through Facebook, Calfier, or the YouTube channel, obviously, or Rumble is the Onion Buns as well. So, feel free to send me a message with your writings. Also, leaving a message or a comment on the YouTube channel really does help me with the YouTube algorithm and getting more eyes on my videos. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.